I'm gonna taste it again. Hi everyone, this is RJ of AstigVegan, and today we will be making what you call Vegan Ala King. And this is a vegan version of the dish Chicken Ala King. It's a creamy, savory dish consisting of chopped chicken along with other vegetables. It's very similar to the dish I grew up eating as a kid. It's called pastel, and this is what my mom would use to make for parties and special occasions, and it reminded me so much of that. So this AstigVegan Ala King version will be a cross between the two. So I hope you try this at home, whether you've heard of this dish or not. Great with rice, or if you want, you can put this as a filling for your pot pies. Let's get started. First, I'd like to make cashew milk from scratch. That's my preferred plant-based milk for this recipe. By all means, use whatever plant-based milk you have, but I personally prefer and recommend cashew milk because it really lends a creamy texture and even really fatty flavor to the dish. So I have half cup of raw cashews. It's very important to use raw and not roasted. I've made that mistake before, and it actually tasted a little bitter if it's roasted cashews. So as much as possible, you want raw cashews. If you have roasted cashews and not raw, just use soy milk or oat milk or other kinds of plant-based milk instead. And then we're gonna mix the raw cashews with some water. So this is 1/2 cup of raw cashews. I'm gonna mix 2 cups of just plain water. And then we're gonna blend this to high speed until there's no more pulp or greediness as much as possible. So this is a very high speed blender. If you don't have one at home, then I would recommend to soak your raw cashews overnight or even boil them and then blend. All right, let's cook. We have our plant-based milk ready. The first step is to fry our good old tofu. This is about 1 huge block of tofu, about 15 ounces. Now you're gonna add a little bit of salt. Sprinkle them around. And you wanna fry them until they're golden brown or light golden color on all sides. So you can see now they look darker in color. Very nice, light golden color. This is the time that I'm gonna add my potatoes. This is about 1 medium potato cut into cubes, just like the tofu. I'm gonna add more sea salt. Then I'm gonna wait until my potatoes are just like my tofu, nicely fried. I'm gonna add black pepper as well. I personally like to put some chopped vegan sausages as well. It adds a nice savory flavor, but also some color and texture. And then we're gonna transfer this to a container. I'm gonna turn the heat back on, but this time to very low heat because we're gonna cook our aromatics. We're not gonna use vegan butter, we're gonna use olive oil to make a roux. About 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, that's good crushed. We're gonna follow this with the onions. A little bit of sea salt. If you have vegan butter at home, then you can just put a tablespoon of vegan butter and a tablespoon of flour. There. And always keep mixing this. Mix, mix, mix. And then we're gonna thin it out by adding cashew milk that we made from scratch. Slowly. Personally, I like my carrots to be more like al dente style, where it's kind of firm but not raw. I don't want the carrots mushy. There. And as you keep mixing, you will notice that the sauce turns thicker and thicker. So just keep mixing it. You can also raise the heat now. Now let's add a little bit of color to this. So right now it's very bland and white. Let's add some red. So this is red bell pepper. And then we're gonna add some green with the greens. I remember the pastel growing up, it would have roasted casoy or cashew. So what I did is I just pan roasted my raw cashews and chopped them up. And this is also what I'm gonna add now. Add more cashew flavor, but now with a roasted and crunchy addition. Because it's really nice and thick now, I'm gonna lower the heat. I almost forgot to put mushrooms. Now, the traditional touch, especially here in the Philippines, is to use canned mushrooms, only because we don't really have access all the time to fresh white button mushrooms. But if you do, then that's better. Then you can use that. But here in the Philippines, we're gonna use what we have. So I'm gonna stick to the traditional touch. I'm gonna put canned mushrooms here. If you're not used to it, then just use the fresh ones. You can even use other kinds of mushrooms, like oyster mushrooms, or explore the different kinds of mushrooms around you. You'll be surprised by how, especially if you're a new vegan, you'll realize that there are so much more fun to be had when it comes to different textures of mushrooms. I think that's pretty much it. The only thing left to add is what we cooked earlier, and that is the tofu and the potatoes and the vegan sausages. Ooh, now it's a full pan. Ooh, look at that. I'm just gonna thin this out a little bit with a little bit of water. Oh yeah. I'm gonna taste it again. I'm enjoying the flavors, but let's see. Let's see the other ingredients, if it needs more salt or whatnot. That is it. Nice, creamy and savory. It really changes the flavor when you use olive oil versus vegan butter. If you want this buttery, then of course you're going to use vegan butter. But if you want the olive oil taste, which I love, personally love, this is really apparent in this dish. I'm very content and pleased and happy with this, and I can't wait to have this with a side of rice. If you want to see more from YouTube, and you can just hit the like or subscribe and the notification bell so that you'll get notified every time there's a new recipe here. Thank you so much for watching. My name is RG at AstigVegan, and this is just to show you with a Vegan Ala King that Filipino food, yes, can be vegan, healthy and delicious without losing its traditional essence. Kain na, let's eat!